quite a scene in court today as a man facing extradition under child molestation charges accuses everyone from the sheriffs all the way to the judge of injustice.
You will be charged as soon as I get out. I promise you that. You understand who I am.
That is Anthony Williams accusing deputies of physically and verbally attacking him. Hawaii's Attorney General says Williams calls himself, quote, private attorney general and was illegally practicing law here in the islands. Turns out Williams is wanted in Georgia, charged with felony child molestation. Williams says authorities there never should have charged him in the first place.
I heard you say that both your son and yourself were charged.
No, we were falsely charged. I'm saying who Georgia has charged officially is not me. It's a legal fiction, all capital letters, Anthony Troy Williams. That's not me with the Social Security number. I do not have a Social Security number. That's who they are charging. That's not me.
Today, a judge delayed the rest of Williams' extradition hearing until tomorrow as the state waits for more fingerprints to verify whether Williams is indeed the person who is charged in Georgia.
So the self-proclaimed Attorney General is clearly using the sovereign citizen defense to defend himself, and it's clearly not going to work. This man is facing some very serious charges, and he needs to be stopped. So now let's just take a quick look into his criminal background.
On December 21st, 2013, Anthony Williams was arrested and booked in Fulton County, Georgia, with felony first-degree aggravated rape of a child with extreme cruelty and excessive pain. This arrest file that you're looking at from arrestfiles.org gives you an indication of how serious this was. As you see, the charges on here are ones that you don't often see. In late 2005 or early 2006, Anthony Williams was arrested and booked in Douglasville, Georgia, with felony aggravated stalking, felony family violence with battery, felony obstruction of justice, hiding from law enforcement authorities. In 2015, Anthony Williams was convicted in Florida of the criminal battery upon and tampering with a witness and victim. Or about October of 2019, while in federal prison in Hawaii, Anthony Williams wrote to an Indiana woman and ordered her to post all over the web the photographs, names, and addresses of all of the judges, prosecutors, and law enforcement officers that were involved in the Hawaii federal prosecution against him for his phony foreclosure rescue scam, so that his surrogates could threaten, intimidate, or kill them for doing their jobs. Judge this behavior in light of the two preceding cases that I just spoke to you about, and it's quite concerning. And take a listen quickly to the statement that the U.S. Marshal makes to the Indiana woman, who Anthony Williams doesn't even bother to think about the amount of trouble she could get into for obstructing justice.
Really know. We talked on the phone, but he didn't really say. I thought it was up there for, I know in Hawaii, it was something on the video saying it was something about a molest, and then they got it dismissed. And I don't know what he went back up there for, because something in Florida went down, and then he got sent to Hawaii.
Correct.
So I'm totally confused.
Okay, so have you ever met Mr. Williams, or do you just know him through social media, or
yes,
an acquaintance?
I've met him before.
Okay. So basically, so I have the email that he was supposed to send to you. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but in it, I'm going to let you know, he said that go ahead and start the petition, okay? That's what he's saying. But later in the ending of the email, he asked you to get all these photos of these agents, judges, and some attorneys that's assigned to his case, and he wants you to post them all over the internet, social media, YouTube, Instagram, what have you, to expose these people that are working this case, okay? So that's what his message is being sent to you. So my job was to just follow up to see if you received this and if you were going to post these pictures.
Well, if I can get some pictures, I don't really have time to do all of that, and I'm very busy.
Okay, and I'm sorry to you, man, but the reason why I get involved is because the federal prosecutors in this case, they take a lot of things seriously, and when they saw this type of response that he was giving back to you, they wanted me to get in contact with you and let you know that if you go ahead and post these types of photos, pictures, information about the people involved in his case, they would look to charge you federally for federal crimes of obstruction.
In June of 2016, Anthony Williams threatened government officials with deadly force when writing, "Any man or woman who tries to restrict and violate my constitutional, divine, and common law rights will be met with deadly force." Capital letters in the original are located here with this copy of the original, and you can see this right here shows exactly what I just read to you. If I don't get the respect I deserve from this day forward, I and my law enforcement team will take it by force! Exclamation point. On May 17th of 2017, Anthony Williams was arrested and later convicted and sentenced for first-degree grand theft for stealing a semi-tractor trailer containing cargo valued at more than $100,000, for engaging in fraudulent mortgage transactions of more than $50,000 with 5 or more victims, for filing false documents against real or personal property, first offense, 2 counts. Williams was found guilty, convicted, and sentenced to 15 years in prison and 15 additional years of probation. April of 2001, Anthony Williams was arrested, indicted, convicted, and imprisoned by the state of Georgia for theft by taking. Judge this conduct in light of the case that I just read to you. On December 12th of 2011 and again on August 2nd of 2012, Anthony Williams was arrested by the state of Tennessee for the criminal impersonation of an officer, a charge Williams should have been arrested for several times in several more states in connection with him repeatedly pretending to be a sovereign peace officer while wearing a fake badge, handcuffs on his belt, and a holster bearing a service revolver, effectively a law enforcement costume. In November of 2015, Anthony Williams was convicted, sentenced to 6 months in jail and 22 years probation, cuffed and jailed for impersonating an attorney and for pretending to be a private attorney general, which term actually means a client of a real attorney, and for practicing law enforcement without a license. Williams' 22-year probation was expressly conditioned upon him not referring to himself as a private attorney general, among other things. But Williams continues to refer to himself as such in writing in virtually all of his court filings in the federal case against him in Hawaii, thereby willfully violating his probation in this case, another felony. Anthony Williams appealed his January 13, 2012 Tennessee conviction for driving without a driver's license and alleged on appeal that he does not need a driver's license to drive a motor vehicle unless he is engaged in commerce, and that the state requirement of a driver's license violated his right to interstate travel. The court held otherwise and upheld the conviction. What you're looking at currently is the state of Tennessee versus Anthony Troy Williams in the Court of Appeals in Tennessee at Jackson, discussing that case and upholding the lower court's decision. Please note that this is the imaginary defense and the very same thing that is peddled by fake retired federal judge Rodney Dale, or otherwise known as Judge Dale, class, fake former deputy sheriff Eddie Craig, and fake constitutional scholar Carl Miller. Real name, Richard Champion.
Now, as I stated earlier, this sovereign citizen Anthony Williams is clearly a career criminal, and he only uses this sovereign citizen ideology to keep his criminal activity going. Now, let's jump into a clip of this sovereign citizen Anthony Williams having an interaction with real law enforcement.
Okay, so it says do not detain, do not arrest. Who gives that authority?
The FBI.
The FBI tells you that you can't be arrested.
All you got to do is call them, sir, and they'll tell you.
They'll tell you I can't arrest you for anything.
Unless I violated the law and committed a crime where injured party.
Most United States citizens are afforded that opportunity.
Well, no, they're not, sir, because most of them.
I can arrest people for no reason.
That's the license plate in this vehicle. That's what they do. So when I'm traveling, I have to have my own tags. Yeah, when I'm traveling, I can't use somebody else's tag.
Says who?
What do you mean says who?
Says who? Who gives you that authority?
The Constitution gives me that authority, sir.
Okay. Well, the state of Florida has rules that if this tag is registered to this vehicle, it has to be on this car.
But state of Florida does not trump the Constitution.
Okay. Well, you know what you're going to have to do then? You're going to get tickets, and then you're going to have to fight it in the state of Florida court.
Oh, I have no problem fighting a ticket.
Excellent.
A ticket means nothing because you cannot ticket someone for exercising a constitutional right.
Okay.
See, I'm exercising a constitutional right to travel.
Okay.
Now, and see, this is the problem that I have with law enforcement agencies that really aren't very versed in the law. And see, this is what you all are thinking. You all think this is a motor vehicle. And see, this is what they're having all the customers, all the clients in Florida to register their automobile as a motor vehicle, and that's wrong. The Supreme Court case, City of Dayton versus DeProse, specifically states that the term motor vehicle is a broader and different term than the word automobile. See, automobile meaning you're not traveling for commerce or for pay. Motor vehicle means you are. That's the difference. And see, that's why I usually send a letter to the chief and the sheriff. I just want too long got here. So I'll be sending a letter to your chief of police and your sheriff so they can understand who I am, why I have to have my tag on whatever car I'm in.
Now, who issued this tag to you?
Who issued it?
Eric Holder issued this one?
No. Now
it's private.
Yes, private. Yes, private attorney general. Yes, private.
Let's run his driver's history and see where he's at. Just stand by for a few minutes.
Where do you have a driver's license?
I don't have a driver's license.
You don't have any driver's license in any state of the United States?
No, sir. Do not have it. That's why you can call the FBI. So that'll put all this up.
Okay, well, we're not going to do that.
So you're not going to call the FBI to verify who I am? Are y'all serious?
You should have an ID proof who you are.
That ID proves who I am.
Sir, do me a favor, put your hands behind your back right now.
Put your phone down.
Right now.
We'll record everything, don't worry about it.
Let go.
What am I being arrested for? So you can't arrest nobody for...
Now, as we just saw, when Mr. Anthony Williams got pulled over by some police officers, none of his sovereign citizen talking points worked out in his favor, and he was arrested. And then he had the nerve to talk about call the FBI to verify who I am. This dude is living in the land of delusion. The FBI does not know who you are, nor would they verify that you are a quote-unquote private attorney general. This dude is a joke. Now let's get back into Mr. Anthony Williams' criminal record.
In early 2015, the judge presiding over Anthony Williams' criminal case for aggravated battery and with tampering with a witness ordered Williams to undergo a psychiatric examination. On 4/11/2018, being sympathetic to Anthony Williams because of his obvious mental illness, the prosecutor that was prosecuting Williams for his phony foreclosure rescue scam in Hawaii moved for Williams to undergo a court-ordered psychiatric examination on the grounds that he is obviously mentally ill. On March 25th of 2018, and then again on April 5th of 2018, Anthony Williams claims to be a victim of spiritual warfare using numerology and gematria. Here's the proof of that. As you can see, he's handwritten out this statement, and you can see that he is claiming spiritual warfare. You can also see, amongst other things, that he is claiming Satan has disguised himself as judges. On March 23rd of 2015, Anthony Williams was judicially declared a serial filer of frivolous lawsuits, also called a vexatious litigant. such that he can be banned from filing future lawsuits unless represented by an attorney at law, a real one. Anthony Williams has lost upwards of 90 consecutive cases in a row, and we're still counting. Let's take a look at some of the mugshots of Anthony Williams. In this one, you will see this is out of Fulton County, Georgia. This is on the felony child assault and extreme cruelty to a child. Next, we have Broward County, Florida. This felony violation was of the community control violation of probation, felony grand theft, felony theft of a semi-tractor trailer with contents that were valued over $100,000, filing false documents against property, no bond, hold for U.S. Marshal to Hawaii to face charges for foreclosure rescue fraud. Another from Broward County, Florida, again, felony violation of community control, violation of probation, felony grand theft, felony theft of a semi-tractor trailer with contents valued over $100,000, filing false documents against property, no bond, hold for U.S. Marshal to Hawaii to face charges for foreclosure bond. And we continue on with Broward County mugshots. And this is with regards to practicing law without a license in Broward County, Florida. These charges are unbelievable. These are all charges out of Broward County.
Okay, so that's the end of digging into sovereign citizen Anthony Williams' background. Now the next clip we're going to jump into, we're going to watch Anthony Williams answer some questions, and it's going to be quite apparent that this man is insane because he's living in his own world. He's living in a fantasy.
What happened in that court? What happened?
Well, in this particular court?
Yeah, in this particular court.
Well, this particular court with acting Judge Ayabi is I took away jurisdiction from him. And I showed that he was illegal and him sitting on the bench, number one, with those flags behind him because he had no authority to be sitting there with those gold fringes and those flags behind him. Also that him purporting that he has a license and that the plaintiff attorney has a license, I exposed that as a fraud. Because number one, they didn't produce their license. They never do produce a license. That's what they can't. You can't produce something you don't have. So that's why I told them, yeah, you have a certificate of admission and a bar card, but you do not have a license to practice because you can't license something that's an inherent right. That's the same way as me saying that I got a license to freedom of speech. You know, I don't have a license.
No.
You don't need a license
No.
for freedom of speech.
You got it right here, bro.
Right. Right.
You got a birthright.
Right. That's right. I got a birthright. You know, so you
Came
can't.
from the womb. It was mine.
It was mine.
That's right.
So that's the reason why when you walk in that courtroom and when they encounter someone like me or Bird, they don't know what to do because they're not used to someone challenging their jurisdiction and someone standing up and challenge the actual laws that they're trying to follow, that they're trying to put you under. Because just because it's in a state statute don't make it a valid law.
No.
Because in order for a law to be valid, you have to have an enactment clause.
Yes.
That's why if you can Google a different law and look up the public law, and like I think it's on Cornell law, where they have on the side, it'll say positive law, it'll say yes or no.
Right.
If it says no, okay, I don't even have to obey that one.
Right.
It's not even a positive law.
It's only enacted for military personnel, period, or government agents.
Right, or government employees.
This is the law he must abide
Right.
by, not we the people must abide by.
Right. Exactly. And see, even the attorneys, really, the attorneys at law can't represent you and me in court.
Nope.
They can only really represent government officials and employees of the government,
Right.
not we the people.
Right.
See, that's one of the biggest frauds been
This
perpetrated
is
on
why
American people.
if you take an attorney into any IRS case, you've lost before you walked in the door.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely lost.
Yes.
Wesley Snipes tried to act as his own counsel 4 different times, got that case changed from $30 million to $3.
Mm-hmm.
Came in with a lawyer and went to jail for 3 years.
This right here is hilarious. These two men having this conversation are clearly both sovereign citizens. Now it's interesting to see two sovereign citizens interacting with each other because they both think the same. And these two individuals are just wrong about almost everything that they say. And it's funny, they think that they found some type of enlightenment and that they're right and everybody else is wrong. These people are sick in the head.
Absolute.
Yes.
There's no way around it.
Right.
Soon as you retain one, you said you're incompetent.
Right. You're ward of the state.
Right.
You're
not of the age of 18,
right.
Not able to consent to a contract.
That's right, and you're not
must have a guardian do it for you.
Yes, because see, this who attorney at law can represent. Like he said, they can represent wards of the state,
yes,
government officials or government employees, people of unsound mind.
Right.
Now, are you an unsound mind?
No.
Are you a government employee?
No, I'm not.
Are you a ward of the state? Then they can't represent you or represent you.
But any being walking to the courtroom that thinks he's a citizen of the United States is of unsound mind.
Right. Right.
Because you can't be a citizen of the United States. That is only that documentation you have.
Right.
They can't have citizens. Well, how can a unnatural corporation naturalize a being?
Mm-hmm. How does that happen? Because corporation, the root word is corpse. Dead.
Dead.
So how can something dead have jurisdiction over something that is alive? That's the reason why when you walk in the courtroom, it's got all capital for the plaintiff and all capital for the defendant. Because that's corporation on corporation.
Yes.
But when you walk in that courtroom, because your name is printed the way you, in all caps, but you looking at, okay, that's my name. And when they call that name, you raise your hand or you stand up and say, that's, yes, I'm here present, I take surety for it. And they say, okay, well, great.
And that's what he can't wait.
Right.
You took surety? I got you.
Got you.
Let me get my checkbook ready.
Right.
You about to deposit that into my bank.
Right.
Because that's all he wants.
That's it.
See, and then if you're not the surety, you bring the surety in with you.
Right.
I'm the sovereign, I will pay.
It's quite sad that there are people out here that actually have this thought process. They think that they're right and that everybody else is wrong. And really, the only people that adapt this sovereign citizen mentality are criminals, and they're only adapting the sovereign citizen ideology because they want to continue their criminal activities, and it never works out for them. Just like it didn't work out for this dude right here. He's currently in jail for like 20 or 30 years.
And let